Well, hey everybody, this is Bill with I Ride Tiny House Adventures. How are y'all doing today? Well, we're getting ready to uh, top off our fresh water tank, and there's a couple things we wanted to show you how we go about topping off our fresh water tank, and we have a little bit of a unique situation when it comes to topping off our tank. So we're going to talk about that a little bit and show you how we handled a minor issue that we had discovered when using our fresh water tank. So first off, we'll show you where the trailer is. It's just right over there. You can see Deb out there getting ready to stretch the hoses out. And since we have a water spigot this close to us right here, that makes it really nice, so we don't have to, hook up the trailer and tow it to a water outlet, or we also don't have to worry about trying to carry water in smaller containers and put them into the fresh water tank. So we can just run the hose over there to it. But there's one thing about, and this is what kind of creates an issue for us, and I'll talk more about it here in just a little bit. But first, let me mention one thing. When you have a regular water spigot that has a regular valve on it with a regular twisty handle, it's no big deal. But a lot of you know, with these type that we have here, which 90% of all the core campgrounds that we've been staying at, this is the type they have. For the most part, that's either all the way off or all the way on. It's really hard to adjust anything in the middle. It's pretty much either all the way off or all the way on. Well, with our particular setup, we have a little bit of an issue with that. And give me just a second here, and we're going to walk over to the trailer, and I'll show you why we have a minor issue with that. I'll be right back. Okay, this is the water inlet on the trailer itself. And of course, this is a dual purpose water inlet here. The one right here, of course, is for when we're connected to city water. And what we did to make this a little bit simpler, we went ahead and put a quick disconnect on it. And we got those quick disconnects at Lowe's. And for the most part, they work real well. I'll talk about that more in just a little bit. And of course, this is our gravity fill right here. Now, the main reason why we installed this where it is because this is directly under the sink, and we mounted our pump directly under the sink. So I wanted to be, have close access to that and everything right there. And that was the best place to put the pump, where I'd have access to the pump, was underneath the sink. Now, the fresh water tank, for those of you that have watched previous videos, just imagine this clearance light here, and I apologize for the fender being so filthy. We were parked under some oak trees that were shedding, and we need to try to clean that off. But anyway, we'll tackle that later. But the fresh water tank, for those of you that have watched the previous videos, know that our fresh water tank is underneath the bed. It's also centered on the axle center line. The tank is 64 inches long, almost 24 inches wide, and around 9 inches tall. But it's underneath the bed, and it runs crosswise with the bed. The 64 inches runs this way. 64 inches run this way, and the width is this way, but it's centered right on the axle center line. So the water inlet for the freshwater tank is roughly right there, down a little bit lower, but right there is where it is. So when I installed the water inlet here, I had to run my fill tube down under the, through the cabinet, through the side of the cabinet, and then go around this way in order for it to go into the inlet at the freshwater tank. Now, in order to make it work, because it was such a tight turn, I ended up, the only fitting that I could find that would screw into the tank and still work with the 1.25 inch fill tube, it was a 90-degree fitting. So what you've got going on here, you've got your 1.25 inch fill tube running down through there, through the side of the kitchen cabinet, and then of course it's hitting the 90-degree fitting at the entrance to the tank, and then making a sharp turn to the right. And that can create an issue sometimes, especially when you're working with a water spigot like the one I just showed you, and it's real hard to adjust it because it wants to run wide open. So what happens when it runs wide open, the water gets backed up at the 90-degree fitting, which you can't see, which is at the entrance to the tank, and then it starts backing up through the fill hole here. So I had to come up with a way to slow the water down, and I thought about all different ways. And of course, I thought about just getting a regular ball valve and putting fittings on it, and all kinds of stuff like this. But what I ended up coming up with, and it has been working real well for us, didn't mean to knock that off, but that's all right, is this right here. Now, what this is, since we have quick disconnects on our hoses, I went ahead and put another quick disconnect on this end here. And then this end here is a garden hose fitting that has a 5/8 inch barb on it. And of course, you've got the ball valve right here. So all I got to do is I go ahead and connect the hose to that. And I probably didn't have to make this tube as long as I did. But I made it, a little bit extra long, and I can go ahead and just ease it down into the opening there a little bit. And then when I have the hose connected here, and yeah, I cut my finger today. I was a flooring installer for years, using knives all the time. I pulled out my carpet knife today to cut something else, and I slipped, and well, there you go. Anyway, by doing it this way, now I can control the flow. Plus, I can see the flow going in through this clear tube. I'll probably end up cutting this tube off a little shorter than that. It doesn't need to be this long, but this is how I did this to make it a little bit easier to use. Here in a minute, we're going to hook it up and show you how it works. But it really works a whole lot better for us and made it a whole lot easier. Deb has some disinfectant, and we're going to spray this tube down first with disinfectant before we stick it down in there. We do that every time before we do that, just to be on the safe side. And because we don't drink that water, but we do rinse our mouths out when we're brushing our teeth and things like that. Eventually, I will probably go with a separate dedicated inlet right here, so I'll have a straight shot right into my tank. But for now, until I find the time and figure out exactly how I want to do this, I have to do it this way. So I'm going to use this right here. So give us just a second, and we're going to hook it up, and we're going to show you how it works. Be right back. All right, we got Deb here, my lovely assistant, and she's going to be helping me with this. And first, she's going to spray some disinfectant that she makes herself on the hose itself. Now, what is that stuff, dear?
It's 50% rubbing alcohol and 50% hydrogen peroxide.
Okay, and where did you pick up on that? Where did you learn that from?
At the chemical company I worked with we were trying to come up with something that was a disinfectant, but more or less didn't cause a lot of harm to the environment. And the chemist suggested this formula for just regular household cleaning, and I love it. It's I use it in the shower, I use it on the kitchen cabinets, I use it for a lot of different things. The rubbing alcohol makes it dry quickly, and also it's a disinfectant, and the hydrogen peroxide does its thing. So that's what I use it for. Yeah,
and she does her countertops and all kinds of stuff with it, and it certainly feels and smells clean when she gets done. That's for sure on that. All right, so anyway, we got that ready to go. So now give us just another second here, and we're going to show you how it works using it.
You're on.
Am I on?
You're on.
All right. Okay, we've already purged all the air out of the line, and Deb has sprayed the disinfectant on it here. So we're ready to go. And first I want to mention one thing, kind of zoom in on this spot right here. I've used a lot of these quick disconnects, and I get them all at Lowe's, but and I've never had any of them leak. For some reason, this particular setup leaks a little bit, but I can deal with that. The one that we plug in over here, can you see this down here? The one that we plug in over here, we never have a leaking problem with that one at all. It doesn't leak at all. But now this one here, for some reason, there's a little bit of a leak, but it's okay, I can deal with it. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to ease that in there. And here in a minute, you may want to come up a little closer, Deb, to show folks something here. But I'm going to go ahead and open this valve up, and you can see the water flowing here. Now I've got that roughly about, maybe half open right in there. I can see the water flowing. Now if I go ahead and open that up all the way, you watch here in just a minute, it's going to start backing up. There it is, it's backing up. The tank is not full, it's just simply backing up because it ran into that 90-degree fitting and held me up. So I go ahead and bring that back, and then I just open it up here, and I find that sweet spot where I don't have that issue, and then just let it run. And it takes a little bit longer. Takes a little bit longer to do it this way, but the frustration factor is practically nothing, isn't it? And but anyway, we didn't know what was going on, why we had this problem the way we had. We couldn't figure out why, and then all of a sudden, you know, when I had time to settle down and start thinking about it, I realized what was really going on here. So, and this pretty much solved it, and I've opened it up a little bit more. I may have it backing up on me again here in a minute. Takes a little bit to find that sweet spot, but anyway, that's how that works. So there's no need in you sitting here watching me do all this. So we're going to kill it here for just a second, and we'll be right back with a little bit of a cap. So we'll talk to you in a little bit here in just a second. I think that's about right. What do you think?
Looks good.
Was that hard to do what we just did?
No.
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 No, it wasn't hard at all.
No.
Sure made it a lot easier when we come up with that idea, didn't it?
Yeah, because first time I did it, I thought, wow, the tank's full already?
Yeah. Yeah. Then,
No.
Nope, it wasn't full. Nope, we just had a small issue there, and we had to figure out a way to deal with it, and that's what we come up with. And it's been working out well for us. Now guess what we get to do?
And now we got to go dump the other tanks.
Got to go dump the gray water tanks here.
It's like you put water in, and then we got to haul water off.
Yeah, but it only takes about 20 minutes total.
I know that.
It's not hard, you know?
No.
And then we'll have time to come back over here.
You know what? None of this life so far has been hard.
No, it's been fun and interesting, and every day we learn something new.
Absolutely. Every day we learn something new.
Yeah, every single day we learn something new, and that's what's cool about it, you know, figuring out ways to handle things to make it simpler. And we've got something else under our sleeves that we're going to be pulling out here before too long, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll show you what that is when we get it all set up.
It's meant to make our life easier.
And it's meant to make our life easier because, well, it's going to have to do, it has something to do, again, with filling the fresh water tank. But what it mainly has to do with, and I won't go too much further than this, what it mainly has to do with, we won't always be that close to a water spigot so we can just run a hose over.
No, right now we're within 75 feet.
Yeah.
We have actually we have 4.
Actually, we have 100 foot of hose. Yeah, we have 100 foot of hose total. By the way, about that hose, you saw it in the video. That hose is crap. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use that word.
You used the C word.
Yeah. That hose is junk. It's not expensive. I think it's like $8 or $9 at Walmart for a 25 foot length of it, and it's Camco, but it's junk. It's pure D junk.
It's really hard to roll back up.
So we're going, yeah, it's stiff. It won't roll up well. We're looking into a different hose. I'm trying to hold this just so. We're looking into a different hose that's more flexible, and I'm certain a lot of you will have ideas for us out there. So go ahead and put them in the comments.
Please do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us what you use for a
have
hose.
Something that
will roll up neatly,
so we can travel with it and then unroll it. It's not all kinked up, and
yeah.
So yes.
And
please.
I do think we need to mention one more thing about the freshwater tank. We do periodically put just a little bit of bleach in it now and then, right?
Yes.
Yeah, not very much, just enough to make sure that you know, the tank's not getting contaminated. So we do that on a fairly regular basis. You know, not every single fill, but about every other one or every third one or so, we toss just a little bit of bleach, not a whole lot, just so you know some's there. You know, just for peace of mind. And here again, we don't drink this water. So far, we're not drinking this water.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're still.
Yeah. We're looking into water filtration systems and things like that as well. And we've had a lot of suggestions from you folks out there, and we appreciate that. We really do. And we're looking into all those things. One of the biggest factors is it's got to be something that's compact and that we can find a place for it and it won't get in the way of something else. You know, we don't want to end up getting all cluttered in the trailer.
No,
so,
I've already purged twice things.
Yeah, you've already thrown things away twice. But anyway, that's about it for now. We're going to sign off here. And what do you have to say for everybody, Deb?
Well, just remember, we're not camping. We are living.
Absolutely. We don't consider this camping, folks. We're living, right?
That's right.
All right. This is Bill and Deb with I Ride Tiny House Adventures. We'll see you later.
See you later.
All right,
Bye-bye.
y'all take care. Bye-bye now.